Good morning, everybody. It is Jen again. Y'all will never guess what I'm doing. This is almost like Groundhog Day. I'm about to head into work. Oh, let's put my shades on here. All right. Trying to have something in my eye. I don't know. Probably some type of allergies. My area is terrible for allergies. But I'm going to get out on the road as usual. And then I will see y'all. Wait a minute. Okay, I brought it to my car. My toxic trait of the week is setting stuff by the door that I'm literally telling myself all morning, take this out to the car, take this out to the car, take this out, literally looking at it and then walking out the door and leaving it on the counter. But today, I put it in the car. But anyway, let me get out on the road and I'll be right back. Alrighty, y'all. I will never get over the joy it is to pull out of my driveway with this vehicle now. I just ain't over it. I pull out every morning. I'm like, that's it. But anyway, whole nother story, whole nother day. Thought I'd talk at y'all this morning. I'm trying to talk more about, I guess, I hate calling it a health journey because that's been just so commercialized and hashtagged to death by people, but that denotes that there's a end to it, but it's a lifelong thing of perpetuity for me. But I just need to get talking about these things, and then if I talk about something halfway decent, I guess it'll get uploaded, right? I also appreciate y'all embracing the car vlogs again, because this is one of the very rare times where I can fit filming into my day. So whole nother story, whole nother day. But see, what did I want to talk about? I give y'all a little snapshot again because I know some people just tune in random videos. I'm Jen. I live in a tiny nowhere town in East Tennessee. If you couldn't tell from the accent, which I'm thankful I actually work closer to where I live now, so I can just let my accent fly now. And I don't work in customer service, so I don't have to get that whole customer voice. Y'all know, y'all that work frontline jobs, you know what I'm talking about. You know the customer voice. You've accidentally slipped into it and freaked out your family and friends. You know what I'm talking about. Like, that's a whole nother person. But anyway, I'm 36. I'll turn 37 at the end of this year. I work a regular old job that I commute to every day. I've lost over 100 pounds in the last about year and a half, and just done it doing nothing fancy. Yeah, literally nothing fancy. I'm of the belief that I've found out that if somebody's trying to tell you that they have a solution to your weight problem, and anybody can lose weight doing something, and step by step, blah, 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 they're trying to sell you something, honey. And I ain't saying what they trying to sell won't help you, but nah, they trying to sell you something. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, whole nother day. Maybe that's that Appalachian coming out in me. But I don't like people trying to make money off of me. That's one reason I decided to get healthier after finding out I was type 2 diabetic and high blood pressure after years and years and years of normal blood work. And then just bam, happy 35th birthday, Jen. Found out like 3 weeks after that. I was on medications for that for about a year, and I was able to come off, and now I'm diet controlled. Just tested my blood pressure over the weekend again, and we're good. We're good. We're sitting at like 122/80. So I'm good with that where it was. But anyway, so that's a little snapshot of me. Oh, and I'm on a budget. I am a woman on a budget, and I don't live anywhere with any fancy grocery stores or anything. So and I didn't really know how to cook anything when I started this. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, okay? If I can do it, literally anybody can do it, and you don't need anything fancy. But anyway, I guess, what do we want to talk about today? What is the thing that worked for me this time that didn't work before, in my opinion? Now, oh, and I still have like probably 40-ish pounds to lose. I don't know. I don't weigh myself very often, so because my weight fluctuates so dang much because my hormones are jacked up and I have inflammation, and I just weigh myself maybe once every month or two, pretty much. So anyway, just to make sure that we're still trending the right direction, you know. What do I think worked this time? Number one, I just had to be honest with myself. I'm gonna tell you, the blood pressure diagnosis didn't shock me too awful bad because I was in a very stressful situation. I mean, the diabetes diagnosis just was like an anvil on my head. Okay, I went through all those emotions. Like I was ashamed. You know, I'm from a family that probably like, oh my gosh, she got diabetes. You know, or at least growing up, a really strict, old school type family. So there's like that internalized, I guess, shame about it. I just had to get over that. You know, whether you're gonna be ashamed of it or not, it's what you got. And going from there and learn about it, like, here's where we're at, here's this point, what are we going to do about it? And just being completely honest with myself, I had to really dig deep and understand, like, why this came about. I guess it's really hard to describe. Like, I had to be my own best friend, and I also had to kind of treat myself like I'm my own project, if that makes sense. I had to be very brutally honest, and that has been the worst part, because I'm going to tell you right now, losing a lot of weight is mental as crap. If you can start to work on the mental stuff, the other stuff will follow. Okay? That is what I'm finding. And I was morbidly obese my whole life. I wasn't a in shape or skinny person or regular weight person and became obese. I've been obese since day one. You know, I played sports, morbidly obese. I've done really well professionally, morbidly obese. You know, I've had a whole life morbidly obese. I think some of these people online, they almost treat those of us who are, you know, fat or morbidly obese like we're not living a life. Like, I've lived a whole ass life as morbidly obese. But it has caught up with me, health-wise. So, anyway, that's a whole nother video. I really want to do a video on my before self, because these people that post these thumbnails looking all disgusted at their before self need to take some seats. You know, but that's a whole nother story, a whole nother day. I love my before self. I need to learn some things from her. She's doing all this crap with extra more than 100 pounds on her, man. But anyway, I just really had to be honest with myself. And and that's hard, because I think, especially as long as I was, I'm sure there's some like fancy psychological term for it or something. You know, I'm just a random fat lady on the internet, so I can only speak from my experience. But you hide things from yourself to protect yourself, okay? And I remember I just started at first just logging everything I was eating just like I was, because I knew that for being type 2 diabetic, I had a problem with my body digesting carbs. I went full on nerd, you know. I started looking up, what does this mean? What is my body doing? And I didn't know what had carbs in it, what didn't. You know, I've heard the terms, but what the crap does that mean? Lord, what's a net carb? What's a total carb? Is this got carbs in it? I've been told that this is healthy to eat, but Lord of mercy, now I look at it, I just use the free version of MyFitnessPal, and I just start plugging things in there and getting data to see where we're at. Okay, because when you think you're eating healthy, I wasn't. And when I thought I was eating a certain portion, I wasn't. And even on top of that, that's kind of the more data part of it. And that's just something I've slowly fooled with over time. But the mental part of it, I come to realize when I was able to start eating in a way that I needed to get rid of my diabetes and or I guess put it in remission. I don't really know how that works. It's like when I go in the doctor now, do I mark that I'm diabetic even though I'm not having to take medication? I still do. So maybe they won't give me something with a bunch of crap sugar in it or something. I don't know. But, like, don't do it, man. I don't want that stuff. But, understanding, like, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're morbidly obese, and I say this, again, with experience here, and I feel pretty confident saying this, and you've been for a prolonged amount of time, you do not have a healthy relationship with food, okay? The only thing healthy about your relationship with food is probably the healthy portion sizes and frequency of eating. And you may not realize it, because, Lord, I didn't. Because you protect yourself from it. And that's why when people will say something to you, which they need to mind their own dang business, these people on here yelling at fat people and stuff like that, honey, until people are ready to hear it, if you would have told me all this stuff 2 years ago, I would have bit back at you so bad. That ain't your business. If somebody is ready to ask you for advice, then give it. Otherwise, mind your own daggone business, okay? That ain't on you. That's on them, okay? But I figured out that, hey, because I got to notice him, I'd be driving home from work, and I'd want to go run through, like, Little Caesars or something like that. I didn't eat out very often, just because I'm on a budget, I'm poor, and I can make it at home for cheaper, you know? But I would start realizing I'd have a very stressful day, and I would get the urge to go run through a drive-thru somewhere. So I was almost using it as a, I don't know, soothing thing, I guess. I don't know. There's probably a better way to word that. And then I would realize that it was almost twisted in a way. So it was like I was kind of trying to reward myself for getting through a stressful day. But then it would become twisted, because then I would consume so much of that, because I mean, my eyes always bigger than my stomach. I mean, even now, portion control, I have to weigh stuff out, because I mean, I tell y'all what, I will make enough to feed an army, you know. And the bad part is, if it's in there, I will be the army, okay? But and then I would eat it, and then I would, like, feel like total crap, like stuffed to the point where my stomach was hurting, and I just laid down. I just have to be numb to the world for a long time. And then all this negative self-talk would come in. I can't believe you did that, you stupid bee. Y'all know that got it. You got that negative. You know that voice is just, oh Lord. It can say meaner things than anybody externally could ever think of. And so I realized food was more than food to me, and I was using it to, like, self-medicate as well as, I guess, self-harm in a way. And that was a really big revelation for me, because, honey, I don't care what type of food it is, what type of this. There ain't no food on God's green earth, no matter how I'm using it, that is worth what diabetes progresses into, the complications from high blood pressure, all that stuff. Not a single thing worth it, okay? No carb in this world, no nothing. And that's kind of, I guess, where I started. That was the biggest, that was the biggest knock on the head, was, you got a problem, okay? And you need to fix it. Because we're not going through all this stuff. They're not about to make a whole bunch of money off me, more than I can help in this pharmaceutical system. And I'm not about to go through all that if I can fix it. But anyway, I got to get in there. I got to make some money. And I will see y'all later. Thank y'all.